Hey, what is up everyone? Hope you're all having a wonderful time. So I recently made a video about the Blood Sacrament Inquisitor, and this was one of the most fun builds that I've been playing in a long time. So today we have another build with the Blood Sacrament skill or the item Relic of the Pact, whichever you prefer. And this time though we are playing as a Sion Acendant, and the reason we switched from the Inquisitor is that you can get some pretty insane damage number with a little bit more investment, and you will also have a lot more defense and a faster character overall. I'm currently at level 96 on this character, and I've been putting around 30 divines in this build so far. Before continuing on the build, just a quick reminder to like the video and also consider subscribing to the channel if you found this video helpful. And now let's continue with the build. So how the build is working is very simple. We're using a unique wand called Relic of the Pact, and this is granting us a skill called Blood Sacrament. And the Blood Sacrament temporarily reserved life while casting, and the life reserved increase while channeling, and it will then deal physical damage in a huge area around us, depending on how much life that is reserved. And the skill has a base damage of 14 to 20 physical damage, and we also gain a bigger area of the skill per percentage life that we reserve. And this also gives us 80% more damage per 10 life reserved. So as you might have figured out right now, the more life that we have, the more damage we will deal. We're currently at around 21k life, and we reserve 86% of that life, so that's quite a bit of more damage right there. To make it so we bypass the channeling part of the skill, we have 3 different support gems linked to the skill. We're using Life Tap and Psycho Wind for the huge cost and reservation multiplier that it provides, and we also have a Awakened Brutality support as of now. And the last support can be changed into other supports like Increased Area of Effect or Critical Multiplier. With this setup we reserve 86% of our life when we use the skill, and this makes it so we only have to press it once to get our full potential of the skill right away. We're also using Comb Spirit, and this item makes it so we can use the Berserker skill, which gives us a lot of great perks like movement speed, less damage taken, and with the Divergent version of the skill we also gain some more spell damage. We're also using another pair of gloves while we are bossing, and these are called Entrophic Devastation, and this makes it so critical strikes with spells inflict Impale, and these gloves are more or less doubling our damage, so they are great for bossing. And with the Sion we can also get the Pathfinder as our Ascendancy, and this makes it so we can have all our flasks up for a very long time for even more movement speed and extra defensive layers. So for the gear we have quite a bit to go over here, so let's start with the uniques. And the first item that we have is the Relic of the Pact wand, which is the build enabling piece, and this provides the Blood Sacrament skill, and we also get some lucky crits while on low life. For the helm we're using Glimpse of Chaos, and this boosts our life a ton with a 40% increase to maximum life, and here you can get all kinds of crazy things on the implicits here. I got the one with enemies are crushed for the physical damage reduction, and you can also try and get some increased area of effect or even stronger curse effect. For the shield we have Wrath Pit Globe, and this makes it so we get a ton of crit chance and also some spell damage from all of that life that we have. We're also using a ring called Essence Worm, and this is so we can have a aura on our character, which without it we can't because we are using blood magic, and very important for both defense while mapping or the extra damage while we're bossing. We're also using Comb's Heart here for the body armor for the 500 flat life that it provides. For the gloves here we are using one called Entrophic Devastation, and this makes it so critical strikes with spells inflict impales, and this is more or less doubling our DPS, so it's a no-brainer that we have this while we are killing bosses. And here you want to focus on getting as much as you can on the increased effect of impale. And while we are mapping we are using Comb's Spirit, and this makes it so we can have a better uptime of the Berserker skill. By having these we regen 1 rage per 100 life recovery, so this is a great to have while we are mapping, making us super fast. So that's for the uniques. Let's go over the rares real quick here, and let's start with the ring. So here we have a Vermilion ring here for the percent life, and we have some more flat life here with some attributes and also some resist. We're also using a Stygian Vice here with the Elder and Hunter influence on it for the percentage life roll and also the percentage attributes, and we also have some more flat life here with strength as well. For the Amulet we are having a talisman here with the percent life. We got some attributes with spell damage, we got some crit multiplier and also flat life. And here we also have the Blood Drinker as our anoint. For the boots we have these with flat life, strength, a abyssal socket and also cannot be poisoned. And I recently made a video on how you can make these boots for yourself. If you're interested, go check it out. I'll put a link in the description. And these builds use a ton of jewels, so let's start by going over the uniques. And the first one that we have here is called Unnatural Instinct, and this makes it so we gain all bonuses of unallocated small passives. So by having it right here next to the Scion, we gain a ton of bonuses, as you can see here. And we're also using Little Pride here with Comb on it, and this is giving us a ton of strength from all the small nodes here, as you can see. And we also gain 12% total in increased life from the more bigger nodes here, and also we have 1 point here for 5% increased strength. Very nice one if you can find the right numbers on it. Dissolution of the Flesh is another one that we have with an additional 30% more to maximum life. And this one makes it so if you do take damage, you will start to reserve a portion of your life, and this makes it so it's very important that you get yourself immune to both poison, bleed and also ignites. Without it, you will most likely brick your build, because we are reserving life with the Blood Sacrament, and then it will just be so we cannot use the skill. So if you take too much damage, it will reserve too much life, so we cannot use their skill, and therefore it will brick the build. Next up we are using Storm Shroud here, and this makes us immune to elemental ailments by getting 100% chance to avoid being shocked. And more about that later in the video. And we also have a Watcher's Eye here that I usually change out for bosses, and this is giving us the increased physical damage here while using Pride, but the most important one is the impales that you inflict last 2 additional hits while using Pride, and this is boosting our damage with quite a lot. And for the rare ones we have one here with the chance of avoid being shocked and also with some life. So this Abyssal here with one of the flasks here with additional avoid being shocked will make it so with the Storm Shroud here we get the ailment immunity. We're also using 2 Abyss sockets in our gear here. We have one for 50% chance of avoid being bleeded with some life, and the same here, got some more life with also chance of avoid being bleed. So that's how we get that avoidance right there. We also have one with Corrupted Blood with some more life and spell damage. For the rest, just try to get as much life as you can get. You can get the global crit strike multiplier here, global physical damage, and you can also get increased spell damage works as well, and even trying to get some attributes for strength works really well as well. And here you actually have room to get 3 Grand Spectrums as well, but I choose not to for this build. And for the flasks, we are using 1 Quicksilver here for the move speed with increased move speed on it. We also have the Bismuth here for the elemental resist with avoidance to shock for the elemental ailment immunity. And we also have 1 Ruby Flask here with additional elemental resist on it. We have a Sapphire with increased critical strike chance. And lastly we have a Topaz Flask with increased cast speed. And a lot of resist from all of these flasks here, but we also get the less damage taken from each element, so that's really nice. And all the flasks have also reduced shortage use for a longer automated loop by also having reused at the end of this flask effect on all of our flasks. So let's go over the skill links here. And on the wand here for the Blood Sacrament we have Life Tap with Awakened Brutality and also Second Wind. We have Val Righteous Fire here for a boost to our damage with efficacy and also increased duration. We have Arcanist Brand linked with Assassin Mark to apply the curse. We're also using Flame Dash as our mobility, and we have Steel Skin here for additional layer of defense. We have a cost when damage taken setup here with Immortal Call and also with increased duration. While mapping, we have the Berserk skill here with enhanced, and important here with the Berserk is that we have the Divergent version here, and this is granting us so we get more spell damage with this skill. And for auras we are using Pride, and here also with the Diversion version for nearby enemies have a percentage to physical damage reduction. Not a big deal here, but yeah, we are using this for bossing, and we are using Petrified Blood while we are mapping. Lastly, we have a Cause on Death setup with the portal just in case. And here we have the passive tree for this build, and we'll leave a link to the POB in the description if you want to go and check it out for yourself. Basically here you want to go and grab as much life as you can, and also Jewel Sockets here, but let's go over the basic from the tree. So starting off at the Sion here, we have the sockets here for the Little Pride, we have the socket here for Unnatural Instinct, and another socket here for one more Jewel slot. You want all life. You want to grab Iron Will. This makes it so strength damage applies to our spell damage, so that's really nice. We're also using Eternal Use for the Life Leech. More sockets here, more life, grabbing all the life and more life, and a Jewel socket here. Moving down, nothing crazy, we are following these for even more life and Jewel sockets. Down here we have blood magic, this is important that we have, and also these attribute nodes here for percentage strength, and the mastery here for increased attributes, very good to have, with more life. Down here, nothing crazy, Jewel sockets, we got more life, Jewel sockets, and well, more life. Moving up here we have the next Jewel socket here, and we're also using Pain Attunement, really good for boosting to our damage because we are always at low life, more or less, so yeah, a lot of damage there. And I just ended up with going this route here for the damage and stopping with the crit multiplier here for this build. So yeah, it's a very basic tree overall. As I mentioned, just try to get as much life as you can pretty much, and that's your passive tree. For the Ascendancy here, we want to start going down here to grab the Pathfinder, and this is for the Flask Setup, 3 charges every 3 seconds, and this is just a huge quality of life for this build. And next up you want to go to the Marauder Ascendancy, and here we want to pick Berserker as the second Ascendancy for the more damage and some other perks right there. And you want to end up with the Path of the Marauder, so we can save a couple of points here by not having to be linked from the Ascendant. For the Bandits, you want to kill them all for the 2 extra passive points they do provide. And for the Phanteons here, for the major one, we are using Soul of Aracali, and we take this for all the reduction to damage over time, and we also gain some increased life recovery here as well. For the minor Pantheon, we have Soul of Abrath, so we are unaffected by burning ground. So there we go everyone, this has been a Blood Sacrament Ascendant. As I mentioned at the start, I had a blast playing the Inquisitor, so I figured out to try out the Ascendance as well, and I've been having an absolute blast playing it. Overall it's a lot more tanky, and you don't die near as much as you do with the Inquisitor, but if you compare the two on what they do achieve with the low budget, I think I still choose the Inquisitor though. However, the Ascendant have so much more to offer if you have the currency to invest on it. If you're interested in a more budget-friendly version, I will put a link to my Inquisitor in the description below. Overall, the build is great for mapping, good for bossing, and the Sanctums has been very easy with this build as well. Thanks for watching, don't forget to like the video, leave a comment, and consider subscribing to the channel. And with that said, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!